Welcome everybody to our demonstration of the Geonexus Integration Platform and SAP and ESRI ArcGIS integration demonstration. I'll be your host and the one giving the demonstration today. My name is James Render. I'm our lead sales engineer here at Geonexus Technologies, and I have a host of experience integrating ESRI with various EAM systems, ERP systems, including SAP. The Geonexus Integration Platform is designed to remove complexity. It's an out-of-the-box solution that's in the vein of a no-code, low-code, off-the-shelf software. We have three pillars of the application here: data integration, which you can see is the first box on the left. It synchronizes data using a full compare approach to ensure integrity of enterprise data. Application integration, that middle box there is there for more of a real-time integration at the application level to support business processes and workflow events, really aimed at work management system type actions. And then the third box we have there is the data quality portion of our product. Again, all of these features are off the shelf, including the data quality portion, which is essentially reporting capabilities built into the software. So it provides understanding and insight into data quality, right, in your enterprise to increase really reliability of enterprise data company-wide. So at the bottom there, you can see we have a host of off-the-shelf connectors. Today we'll be showing ESRI and SAP, but we also have connectors to IBM Maximo, a few different Oracle systems, and a few different ABB systems as well. So some of the benefits of our product and how we enable this type of off-the-shelf, out-of-the-box integration at organizations. So it's really in the vein of a low-code, no-code integration platform that's quickly stood up and follows a citizen developer, citizen integrator type model. So what that allows in an organization is the ability to have, different people in a group involved in integration, when typically a customized integration might only involve your IT department and then some engagement from IT down to business, where our product is really designed to engage business users and end users, right, citizen integrators from the beginning. So you can see we have three kind of roles here that can be involved in the integration with our platform. An integration specialist, which is more of an IT type member, right, higher technical understanding of systems overall and enterprise projects overall. And then we have more of the ad hoc integrator and citizen integrators there over to the right side, which is really that ability to engage different levels within the organization to really own, certain aspects of an integration, like data quality and addressing data quality issues, which is usually done best by the business side. So having this no-code, low-code citizen developer environment enables that within our customers' organizations. So the workflow we're going to be demonstrating here is integration between ESRI and SAP. We're using gas meters as our object to integrate between the two systems, and we're going to be demonstrating a kind of a gas meter change out initiated by SAP to synchronize information back to GIS. So I'm going to go ahead and share the demonstration. Begin. Back. All right. So we're looking at the integration platform user interface. We have some things in the background. We have ArcMap open and SAP open, and I'll use those to demonstrate the use case. But first off here, we're looking at the user interface for the integration platform, and I'm going to walk through the hierarchy within the application, how we connect out to GIS and SAP, and then how we align and create synchronization rules between alignment. So first off, we have the connection section here, and we're looking at the panel on the right at a geodatabase connection. So we're using ArcObjects technology, the application layer, right, to reach out through our productized connector to connect to the geodatabase here. So an ESRI geodatabase. I'm going to show a couple of other connection types that we have for ESRI. So you can see we have different radio buttons. We have an ArcGIS portal connection, which allows you to connect out to your portal in your organization. And the way we connect out to ESRI REST is very simple. We have a REST endpoint here with credentials, essentially. And then we support a host of other functionality within ArcGIS Enterprise, right, kind of customization or authentication types. So that's what you see down here towards the bottom. And then we also have an ArcGIS online connection, which is, again, fairly straightforward REST endpoint with credentials. And then, right, some authentication support down there at the bottom. So we'll flip to the SAP connection. So to SAP, again, off-the-shelf, out-of-box connector, uses OData, right, to communicate with SAP. So we have a proprietary, right, quote-unquote type way that we structure the OData service for our application, right? And the end goal here is that it's a repeatable type of integration that really streamlines the process for you and creates a consistent communication layer between our integration platform and the SAP application. Again, we're connecting on the application layer here, pointing to an OData service endpoint with credentials. And then we're just defining some entity set items here down below on that service. We've established connections to our edge systems, again, in this case, ESRI and SAP, through our out-of-box connectors. We're going to then be able to create what we term a data set. So a data set within our software is essentially alignment between items in two or more systems, and then synchronize those connections. So I'll walk through here our specific use case of gas meter. So on this panel that we're selected on is a GIS data source, and we're using this GIS connection right above to connect out to that geodatabase. So as you select down through the hierarchy here, you're going to identify database, schema owner, table, and then identify a key field right on the table to use as a unique ID. So that's our GIS connection here. So within the demonstration, right, we're going to show you some other higher functionality within the software. So one of those things is within the GIS environment, you have relationship classes. And in the utility network, right, going forward with ESRI, you have associations. But for our purposes today, we're going to demonstrate a relationship class and how we can go pull actual related attributes from a related table to meter setting to use to integrate between SAP and GIS here. So what we're seeing here is we're reaching out to the meter table, grabbing serial number right from that table, and then adding it to our available attributes to map to and from between SAP. So that's what we're seeing here. So we're technically kind of doing a join here to go grab that information to the meter setting table. All right, so let's flip to the SAP connection. So on the data source window on the right, similar to using the connection name, and then drilling down through the SAP side now, first through the OData, and then through the SAP, I guess, hierarchy in itself. So we're going to go out and select the SAP service, the entity set, right? So we want equipment, and then we're telling it to bind, right? We need to tell it bind between the SAP entity and the GIS entity, right? For any integration to work, you need that bind. How do you match rows in different systems? So we're saying use equipment number in SAP to bind to facility ID in GIS. And then down here at the bottom, right, is the SAP classification. So I don't know if you're a GIS person, if you're an SAP person listening to the demo, an SAP classification, right, is similar to a lot of other EAM systems, how they classify information. So within the equipment table, right, in the equipment entity, you have ways that you can further classify those pieces of equipment. So what we allow for here is a user to select a class, right, within SAP. So you can see in the drop-down here, we're dynamically populating all the classes that are available under equipment for this data source here. So another item to bring attention to is now the ability, right, to first filter down even further. So, right, we're on the equipment, and we're filtering first by this classification. And we can filter even further down here in the where clause box on records within meter setting. So we're saying, right, this is for demonstration purposes, right, go grab an equipment number that starts with this this text sequence here. So that's just the way that you can utilize the integration platform, right, to filter things down if necessary. So back to the classification. So because we're choosing meter setting, I'm going to now go to the actual synchronization rules that we're defining between systems and look at our use case. So because we're choosing, right, that classification that we saw on the other screen, we're giving now the option to choose characteristics on the SAP side to map to and from. So you can see we have attribute, right? That's going to give you one set of attributes to choose from on the SAP side. So essentially the equipment attributes, and then characteristics, right, is based on that classification that we chose. So we're getting only, four items here under characteristics to map to in SAP. So those are these columns here. And if we look at the first two columns, because we're in the GIS to SAP window, so you can see that the application is fully bidirectional. We have GIS to SAP, and then another set of synchronization rules, that's SAP to GIS, right? And that's defining directionality. So sending creates and modifications from GIS to SAP, or vice versa, from SAP to GIS. So if we go ahead and take a look at the SAP to GIS rules, we'll flip there. So now we're in the SAP to GIS rules. In the created tab, we have no rules defined, but in the modification tab, we have rules established. So what does this mean? Depending on where the rule is, right, which window you put the rule into, directionality-wise and wise within the software, we're establishing that that system is either the owner of the attribute, right, or is not the owner of the attribute if you don't have the rule defined, or you could have a bidirectional rule. So you can see that, you can establish the same mapping, right, flipped around in both windows. That would say to the software, this attribute is jointly owned between the two systems. So let's go ahead and take a look at our use case here. So if I flip to GIS to ArcMap here, you can see we have this row selected on the meter setting table. And we have an installation date here. And then if I look at that records related meter record, right, we're going to see that, right, we have a, let me scroll over. Right there, we have a serial number defined as this. So what we're going to do now is in SAP perform some maintenance work, right? We're going to essentially flip out the serial number and the installation date on that record. So let me go to SAP. All right, so we're looking at this record. Let me just go back up and reload the record. All right, so you can see that for that record, right, the data matches, right? We saw the installation date, right, which is startup date, which is what we're mapping to and from, and the manufacturer serial number here screen in SAP. So again, the use case is let's go ahead and do some work on it and essentially change out the meter, right, in SAP. So we'll go ahead and change the serial number and then change the installation date. So we'll go to November and change that. And we're going to go ahead and save the record. All right, let's just re-verify that those changes are made. Okay, so there's our record again in SAP. Serial number has changed and the installation date has been changed. So all we're going to do is come back to our software, right, because we have it already configured. We're going to go ahead and run it in commit mode to go ahead and make that change to GIS. All right, so what we're going to see here, right, is the serial number change. And we should also see the installation date change here. We come back to GeoWorks Sync. Go ahead and look at the console window. So what I did was I flipped to the console window and I started the synchronization manually. Right, we have a few different run modes that you can engage. You can run it manually through the UI, and you can also schedule it as a task, right, to run at a specific time every night. So what we're going to do here is go to the Reports tab and open up the report for that run we just completed. So this is our PDF report. Again, full functionality out of the box. Here, right, nothing you have to do customization-wise to get this report when the synchronization runs. It's going to give you that console view and then list out all of the functions that were enacted within that run, and then give you a summary of those. So you can see here, right, old value, new value, right? It's telling us that that change was made to this specific record. So let's go ahead to GIS and refresh. So refresh the database, you can see now our installation date has changed. And again, if I flip to the meter table, right, we can see now that our serial number has changed as well. Right, so that some work was done in SAP, meter swap out at a location. Nothing was needed to be done in the GIS side. Right, everything is done through the software to commit those changes back to GIS. Right, you could have a similar situation if you do work in GIS. You would just define the rules in the opposite direction to complete that work. So it really enables those systems to do what they're good at, right? To to enable, let's say, an ESRI application to do design work, or right, utilizing SAP as an ERP system, allowing maintenance orders and the like to be completed, and update information on your assets and equipment as necessary. So that concludes the demonstration. Again, how can the platform help your organization? Again, we're approaching integration from a no-code, low-code perspective. What does that mean to you? Why should you care? Well, it's going to reduce time and costs. Number one, of IT resources, right, needed to complete these type of projects. Right, our connectors are out of the box. You don't have to go buy an ESB middleware type solution that is going to need you to develop the actual API interface to an application, right? Our connectors are out of the box. They're there for you already, ready to go, plug and play. So that's also going to help the business side in rectifying data issues, right? The second item here, our software is middleware, right? But how is it different than most other middlewares? We've talked about no-code, low-code. We've talked about having off-the-shelf, out-of-box connectors there for you to plug and play. We also do a method of change, right, detection that is different again than your typical middleware. So we're number one, we're doing a comparison, and we're doing a comparison not just by row, right, or by a change date, or by a flag, right, a message broker, right, telling that a change has been made. We're actually doing a comparison on a cell-by-cell level to ensure no discrepancies are left undetected or overwritten, really. Right, if you're relying on a middleware to one system send a message, oh, this thing changed, you might be pushing that information over to the other system. There's no comparison there, right? So you theoretically could be overwriting good data in the other system without doing a comparison. If there was a conflict, if there was a discrepancy or detected, right, you wouldn't know that. Second bullet point there, all of this is just going to increase your data integrity and trustworthiness within your organization. Right, the power of full reporting, full transparency, and integration is very important for that point, and that's what our application can provide. And lastly, right, empowering the business. So this isn't, right, just IT integration anymore. Citizen developer model, citizen integrator enables your business users to configure the integration, work directly, right, in the integration rather than just as an auxiliary piece of it. The business knows the data, they should be involved at that level. And then finally, again, our use case, right, increasing usability of systems. So enabling that ESRI stack, right, maybe of mobile applications that are out of the box as well. Enabling the SAP, ERP type system power of maintenance orders and that level, even CU design and that type of information. So, right, overall, you're just getting a more complete solution, right? This isn't just point-to-point custom integration, right? This is a product that's enhance what you're doing at your organization. So if you have any questions related to anything you've seen in the demonstration today, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at the email below, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.